welcome everyone on today's session about how to manage your projects with disciplined agile. So the things that we're going to go ahead and talk about, the topics that we're going to go ahead and focus on today is going to be the introduction of disciplined agile. We will talk about the role called DASM. We will go ahead and try to understand the basic concepts like what principles, what mindset are supposed to be used while managing the projects using the whole toolkit of disciplined agile, and how the process goals and different aspects provide or support the team's agility. Now, before we go ahead and start talking about the whole concept of disciplined agile and how projects work in an agile environment, let's understand what precisely is agile. So in a very straightforward statement, I would say agile is being nimble, being flexible. So when we talk about the whole concept of agile, if we just go ahead and try and see the history of agile, when we talk about the agile manifesto, when we talk about the agile principles, when we talk about the year 2001 where the manifesto came in, the whole concept of agile at that point was to go ahead and drive software and application development projects. Now, with time, the whole application of agile approach is being diversified. It's being used in multiple areas and multiple ways of projects. Some of the famous techniques within the agile umbrella is going to be Scrum. It's going to be extreme programming. It can be DASM. There are many names that we can go ahead and refer to. However, when we talk about the real-time project management, and when we try and look into the current situation of the evolving concepts of project management, what's happening now is agile is kind of not able to cope up with the current requirements or the current expectations. Things are changing. Things are moving very frequently. People are actually, or organizations are actually expecting to manage their projects, keeping the best of both worlds. When I say best of both worlds, organizations are expecting to have that agility of or flexibility of agile approaches. At the same time, they are also going ahead and expecting that robust and structured approach and structured definition of projects and steps and activities, which was there in the waterfall approach. So when we talk about the application of agile, we need to understand that every organization, every project, every product is different. We cannot simply go ahead and as an organization say that we're going to follow Scrum or we're going to follow Lean or we're going to follow waterfall. None of these as a standalone approach is going to be beneficial for the enterprise, is going to be beneficial for the organization. So what's the next option, or what's the best option that we have? Now, DASM is going to be used as a toolkit, I will say. I'm not going to go ahead and refer to DASM as an approach. I'm not going to go ahead and term it as a methodology. I'm going to simply use the term that DASM is practically going to give you nothing but a toolkit that gives you components of different applicable approaches. And as a team, as a project team, as a development team, you go ahead and decide what's going to be your way of working. In short, in disciplined agile world, we call it choosing or selecting your wow. Now, this gives every team that option to go ahead and handpick the approaches, the concepts, the techniques they think is going to be valuable, they think is going to be applicable, is going to be good for them for this particular project. And let me be very precise. Wow, when we talk about the way of working, the project team have the option to choose different wows every time they go ahead and start a new project. The role, by the way, the DASM, practically speaking, is actually stands for Disciplined Agile Scrum Master. So when we simply say a DASM, DASM in simple words is a team leader that practices the Scrum methodology and aware and able to implement the other tools promoted and covered by Disciplined Agile. So someone who's practically working in a team leader position or as a DASM is the one whose primary role is to make sure that the team get enough knowledge, get enough information, get enough understanding about the different approaches that is going to be helpful for them to go ahead and pick and choose the ways of working for them. When we talk about the DASM and compare it with other roles that you might see in an organization. So an organization where you see functional managers. So functional managers, practically speaking, are going to be responsible for specific functions like marketing, finance, IT, human resource. They're going to go ahead and take care of one particular function. They're the one who's going to go ahead and make all the high level business decisions. Then there is another role that we normally go ahead and talk about in the disciplined agile structure. That's going to be the DASSM. This is for Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master. Now, someone who's working in this particular role is the one who's going to be responsible for implementation or development of teams. They're the one who guide their teams to make joint decisions. They're the one who go ahead and promote that collaboration. They're the one who promote that factor that the team is supposed to go ahead and make that decision. Um, they're the one who are qualified to work in variety of situations with more complex scaling factors and variations. So in simple words, if I have to go ahead and explain scaling, understand that when we talk about agile, there's a defined uh, approach about what should be the team size, how exactly you're supposed to go ahead and manage uh, a project which is going to be complex, where you have multiple teams getting involved. So scaling essentially is how you go ahead and scale these multiple teams, how you go ahead and arrange these teams in a way that you end up in getting something valuable for the business. DASM, SSM is someone who needs skills in planning, matrix, and reporting, uh, takes an active role in team development and team building, knows the organization's various layers and departments, can identify allies and coordinate with other teams to improve the value system, and removes any kind of barrier between stakeholder and team. So can provide a link between these two entities. On the other hand, when we talk about a DAS, the Disciplined Agile Scrum Master, practically this role is the one who's qualified to work in more straightforward, less complex situation. We're expecting a DASM to be the one who's managing one team at a time, less complex situations, whereas a DASSM, Senior Scrum Master, is supposed to be going ahead and managing tricky situations or a complex environment. Has basic team leadership skills and does not take an active role in planning matrix, reporting, or team development, because practically all these things are done by the DASSM and the development team, and knows how to work at a team level. Disciplined Agile provides some principles, whether you are going to work as a DASSM, you want to work as DASM. These are the basics that you need to go ahead and follow. First, delight customers. Manage your project in a way, manage your team in a way that it delivers something that's going to delight the customer. Be awesome. Try to bring the best of yourself. I mean, yes, you probably have achieved a particular level of proficiency. Try and beat that. Do better than what you are doing today. So always try to be the best version of yourself. and follow the context. Be pragmatic. Don't follow things just because they have been defined. You go ahead and define a process structure that needs to be followed for project A. After a few months, you start with another project, project B, not necessarily the processes, the principles, the approach that you have defined for project A gonna go ahead and be applicable for project B as well. So just keep an open mind. Realize that yes, when you define processes, they're good. Why they are good? Because they give you a kind of benchmark. They give you a benchmark to realize or to define your improvement, but they're not being defined just to go ahead and blindly being followed. Choice is good, and that's why Disciplined Agile go ahead and provide you multiple choices about the tools, about the approaches that you probably want to go ahead and utilize. Optimize the flow, try and improve the flow, organize around product and services. So develop or organize your team around the product and services that are expected to be developed. And finally, be aware. Be aware of the enterprise. When we talk about as a project manager, when we talk about as a scrum master, you're supposed to go ahead and deliver value. Understand that the definition of value is something which is defined by the enterprise. And you, as a project manager, as a scrum master, as any other role, let's say, agile coach, you would be able to go ahead and understand that definition of value only if you are aware of the enterprise, only if you are aware of what enterprise is expecting. Now, disciplined agile mindset. Go ahead and promise to create physiological safety and embrace the diversity. So that's why we simply go ahead and agree to the fact that when we talk about a development team, it's going to be cross-functional, and that's absolutely fine with us. Accelerate value realization. Many of these principles, if you notice, many of these principles, many of these promises are going to be pretty much in line with agile. They may not be exactly the same, but they are very much in line with agile approaches. And that's the beauty of disciplined agile. We are not going ahead and saying that we are just following agile. We're not going ahead and saying we are following lean. We're not going to go ahead and say that we're following waterfall. We are open for anything and everything. So accelerate value realization. Try and succeed early. Yes, I agree. There's a very clear concept of fail early. If we normally go ahead and say that if you have to fail, fail as early as possible. That's how you go ahead and save money and resources. Disciplined agile go ahead and say that why we talk about fail, why not we go ahead and talk about being successful. So try and deliver value as early as possible. See what's valuable for the customer, deliver that. Collaborate proactively. Don't wait for the other entity to go ahead and contribute. You take the lead. Make all work and workflow visible. This is again something which is very common with agile. We expect the work and the workflow to be visible to all stakeholders, all entities. Improve predictability. Make sure you design the whole thing, you plan the whole thing in a way that it's easy to go ahead and predict what's going to be the next step. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not going to say that it's going to happen from the very first day, but try to achieve it. Keep workloads within capacity. Challenge your team. Go ahead, challenge them to go and accomplish bigger achievements or bigger chunk of work to be completed. But understand this as well, that there is going to be a very thin line between what is expected and what can be delivered. So be reasonable, challenge them, but be reasonable and try to improve continuously. Focus on improvement on a regular basis. The guidelines that we follow, validate our learnings. Always try to validate the learnings. Apply design thinking. Attend to relationships through the value stream and create effective environments that foster joy, and change the culture by improving the systems. create semi-autonomous, self-organizing teams. Those teams who are willing to go ahead and decide and are willing to go ahead and agree and accept the end result of those decisions, adopt measures to improve the outcomes, and leverage and enhance the organizational assets. Disciplined Agile primarily go ahead and focus on these four aspects: people, practice, flows, and mindset. Also, disciplined Agile teams are considered to be unique, and every team is going to be unique. I'm not saying um, just for this project it's going to be unique. For every project, every team is going to be unique, and the uniqueness is going to be because of the purpose, that as a team what you are trying to accomplish. The uniqueness is going to be because of the size. The uniqueness is going to be because of the geographic distribution of the team. Is the team co-located? Are they globally distributed? The approach that they follow and the kind of culture the team's going to go ahead and adhere to. In a agile world, in a disciplined agile world, the people that are going to be involved, they can be categorized primarily between these three roles. Either they're going to be going ahead and primarily involved in some kind of solution delivery role. That can be someone who's going to talk about the solution part, like the team lead, like the product owner, like the architecture owner, the team member, the development team member, the testers. Or they can be domain experts or domain roles, like someone who have expertise in a particular domain. So customer service representative, procurement office, domain experts. Management roles like project manager, portfolio manager, data manager, program manager. So these are practically the three chunks, and you will notice that any role that you go ahead and pick, any role, they're gonna go ahead and fall under these three categories. Disciplined Agile also go ahead and talk about the process blades. So essentially it talks about four different layers of process blades. That's going to be the foundation layer, then the value streams, then the advanced levels. These are practically the four different levels of process blades. Process blades essentially talk about a specific set of components, specific set of things that are supposed to be performed, like let's say enterprise architecture, people management, information technology management, asset management. So specific set of activities, specific set of skill sets, specific set of resources that are supposed to be used to go ahead and manage a particular approach altogether. Now, when we talk about the disciplined agile, the entire approach of project within disciplined agile can be categorized under these four groups. So let's consider it in this way, that these four chunks are going to be considered as the life cycle of project. So we start with inception. Inception is primarily where the development is happening, the team development is happening, or the project initiation is happening. This is where you will talk about forming the team, exploring the scope, identifying the strategy, planning for releases. So all that thing that happens in the very beginning of the project, that is being captured under the inception group. Then comes the construction. This is where the actual development happens. This is where you try to go ahead and develop things. So prove architecture early, address changing stakeholder needs. You developing, stakeholders requirements change. What do? You tweak that. You tweak your solution, you tweak your deliverable as per the changing requirements. Produce a potentially consumable solution, improve quality, and accelerate value delivery. Transition, like ensure production readiness, deploy the solution. And fourth chunk is ongoing. Ongoing is something that happens at the beginning of the project while the project is, or the product is within development, or the components are within development. and when you are finally going ahead and closing the project. Some examples like addressing any kind of uncertainties, coordinating activities. Now, when we talk about finding which approach is better for us, which approach should I go ahead and choose to go ahead and cover the whole concept of agile, which one is going to be good for my team, or what are the parameters against which I need to go ahead and evaluate the ways of working for me. That's where the spider diagram can be very helpful. We go ahead and evaluate the entire spider diagram based on the team size, geographic distribution, organizational distribution, compliance, technical complexity, and domain complexity. And based on where exactly the project is going to rely on, like if I say the domain complexity is complex, the number of resources are going to be 100, geographic distribution is going to be global. So based on the entries, based on the project specific information, we may go ahead and choose our specific way of working. Primary roles that are involved in disciplined agile: first, the team lead. What exactly is the primary job? Is the one who's expected to be a process expert, keeps the team focused on achievement of goals and remove any impediments. Product owner, the one who can represent the customer, the one who owns the product vision. Architecture owner owns the architecture, mitigates key technical risks. Team members, they are the one who actually develop the solution. And stakeholder includes the customer, but also can be vendors, suppliers, support staff, all the entities, all and anyone and everyone who have something to gain or lose because of the venture can be categorized under the group of stakeholders. This is where I will stop, team.
Okay, so I want to ask you one very simple question, Shomek. There are so many courses. There are so many things, when it comes to project management. I am an organization, maybe I'm the head of the PMO. I have various kind of decision makers coming to me, asking me for various kind of trainings. And now I have this huge selection of courses in front of me. I know that you're a PMP. I know that you're a Scrum Master. I know you're a Disciplined Agile Scrum Master. I also know, that you have done ITIL and several other certifications. And of course, your experience speaks for itself as well. I am sitting here with all of these 25 different courses, even more, sitting in front of me, coming from various organizations, right? I need to select one for my team, and I don't know what to pick. Should I pick the PMP? Should I pick the Disciplined Agile Scrum Masters? It's more about Scrum. Should I, maybe because of the level of experience that my team members have, should I pick up Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master? Should I stick to PMI ACP, the Agile Certified Practitioner? There's just so much to choose from. It's just very, very hard to place yourself in something. Can you help the learners with that?
Okay, so to answer your question, you need to first, if you are the decision maker, you need to first understand that what precisely is your requirement. So when I say what precisely is your requirement, if let's say you are a team who thinks, or you're an organization who thinks that following a very stringent agile approach, or restricting yourself to just the agile principles is not actually very beneficial for you, and you want to go ahead and explore other ways of working, you want to go ahead and kind of experiment with approaches, your team is very capable, your team is already aware of how agile works, how waterfall works, how different other approaches work, then you may want to go ahead and jump to a disciplined agile. If you talk about finding trainings for people who are very new into the world of project management, they're probably just starting with the journey on project management, and they're technically strong. You need to go ahead and give them some more inputs, some more information about the management side or business side of project management. Then you can go ahead and pick CAPM. certified associate in project management.
Right. To
People
start
who,
with, right?
yeah, to start with. If you are following the traditional approach along with the agile approach, or so let's say you are in a initial level of hybrid, then PMPs can do wonders for you.
Mm-hmm.
ACPs for those who are trying to get into the world of agile project management, and they're
Yeah.
trying to understand and learn the different agile approaches. So when I say agile, see, ACP or most of the agile centric courses, I'm not talking about Scrum Master, I'm not talking about Lean or Kanban specific, I'm talking about and courses which covers the concept of agile. So primarily they go ahead and focus on the agile manifesto and the 12 agile principles, and then they go ahead and give a brief introduction about um, most famous agile um, methodologies, or most, we normally use the word um, the agile flavors. So most of the
Mm-hmm.
agile ACP, let's say, is going to start with Scrum, and majority of the questions, majority of the things that will be covered within the examination is going to be from Scrum. So
Yeah.
that's where the focus is. However, when we talk about disciplined agile, this is for people who are actually don't want, or for those enterprises who don't want to restrict their teams, who don't want to restrict their organization, their project development cycles to a particular approach only.
Right. Because agile is an umbrella, right? And it
Yeah,
consists of various types of
there are
approaches and
different
so on and so
approaches,
forth.
and when I say agile, yes, why restrict yourself to agile only? A simple example: if you are working in a construction project, or let's say you are going ahead and working in the defense sector, you're trying to go ahead and design and develop a new weapon system, you cannot afford changes in between, which essentially means the whole concept of being flexible, agreeing to changes very frequently is not going to be applicable. In that case, you need to have a very strongly developed plan at the very beginning of the project that you need to adhere to. So when we
Mm-hmm.
talk about disciplined agile gives you the option that you choose as a team, you decide what do you think, what do you consider is going to help you deliver this project successfully. So that's where, or that's the point where we go ahead and say that the team chooses, the team picks its own
Mm-hmm.
way of working.
Right. So there are two kinds of people that we speak to sometimes. Now, you know
Mm,
about Netcom Learning. We're huge into IT and business trainings. And just by the
agreed.
fact that we have classified those two into two separate sets, there's IT and then there's business. Now, when we
Mm,
speak with the, when I speak to the business decision makers, they're all right with the
mm,
PMP and, say, because PMP comes from that waterfall traditional approach. And then the IT
mm,
teams, when we go and we speak to their innovation department or head of innovation and so on and so forth, they're like, I want something more agile. I want
mm,
Scrum or something
mm,
like that. Is
mm,
that really true? Because I know that PMP involved, right? And I know that Disciplined Agile Scrum Master and Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master was an addition to that as well. It's just a different way of working. I
mm,
wanted to be able to understand that when you speak with the decision makers, and I know that we have some here today, when you speak to them, what would you say that they should think about when they pick a course, they pick a training for themselves and for their teams? I mean, if
So
they're coming either from the IT department or if they're coming from a more of a business service delivery department.
mm. So for a team, Eliza, when we talk about the team, a team is more concerned about uh, how flexibly they can go ahead and deliver, how quickly they can go ahead and deliver. They're more concerned about the whole concept of delivering value as early as possible. That's gonna be
Correct.
their focus area. So that's why when we talk about the team members, or when we talk about someone selecting a course for the team members, they normally prefer to go for the whole concept of agile and different flavors of agile and all that. When we talk about leadership team, as a leader, you have to go ahead and showcase that justification for the project. You have to go ahead and manage the costing part. You have to manage the resource availability. You have to struggle about the concepts about availability or unavailability of your resources, skill set level, the schedule part. So there are many other things that are being introduced, and most often you will notice that the team members are not primarily concerned about those aspects.
Yeah.
These are the aspects where the leadership gets involved. So when we talk about the leadership getting some kind of training for themselves for managing and leading the projects,
Mm-hmm.
so leadership normally go ahead and focus on certifications like PMP and PGMP.
Correct. I've seen that.
I was just trying to go ahead and conclude that if you are a decision maker, if you are the one who's acting as in a leadership role, so for you, you will always go ahead and pick PMP over any other certification. For your team, on the other hand, for your
Mm-hmm.
team, you will be going ahead and picking a course which um, you expect the team to go ahead and follow. Let's say you want them to go ahead and follow the agile approach, the traditional
Yeah.
agile approach. You will probably go ahead and pick PMI, ACP, or something of that sort. You want them to be experimenting with things. You want them to be open with different ways of working. You will probably go ahead and pick disciplined agile in that case.
Right. Right. I get a lot of questions nowadays, not just from the decision makers, but from learners as well. And,
Hmm.
when they talk about project management, there are a
Hmm.
couple of topics that come up a lot. You know, Having that business resilience, having that emotional agility. I know building a high performing team is part of the PMP now. It's one of the very major topics in there. They talk about the digital transformation side of things, design thinking side of things. They talk
Hmm.
about all of this. I want this to be a part of the course. When that comes into picture, what do you do at that time when these learners, because I know that you take these sessions and you must get questions out of that. How do you take care of this? Are there topics, are there parts of these courses which are talking about conflict resolution, team building, and so on and so
Hmm.
forth? I don't even know what all
Hmm.
can you fit in there.
Hmm.
Time management, even time management was one of the topics that came up. What do you do at that
Hmm.
time when learners ask you questions like these?
Hmm. So when we talk about these topics, understand when we talk about conflict management, when we talk about schedule management, when we talk about risk management. When I say risk management, it involves identification, prioritization, identification of solution of risks, implementation of solutions. So uh, these, practically speaking, you will not see team members going ahead and focusing on these specific topics while managing the project or while working on a project. They normally, when we talk about, even in a agile world, we normally call it uh, the reporting session, where the team members go ahead and discuss about the progress of the work, showcases what's been done, what's they're planning to do, and what are the um, issues they probably are facing. So end of the day, it's going to be the job of the leader to go ahead and resolve any issues that the team is facing. So considering that, the leadership normally go ahead and have to manage these aspects when we talk about
Yeah.
scheduling management, cost management. So these are the topics which are actually being covered. I will precisely want to go ahead and take the name of PMP here, because PMP do talk about these concepts. So the new project management, if you notice the new PMP thing, it actually starts with a topic called develop a team. So it essentially go ahead and focus on areas or concepts that you need to go ahead and implement to keep
Okay.
first introducing, getting the team together, and then the things that you have to do to keep that team together. So yes, there are topics that are covered in PMP, in PMI specific courses where these are being followed.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I could probably ask you 1 million other questions, but then, I have to feel for the people who joined as well and be respectful of time. So I must take them through the promotions, and I must take them through a little bit of navigation onto the website as well. So thank you, everybody, for joining today and taking this brief introduction on Disciplined Agile. And I'm sorry about the questions if they bothered you, but I hope that you learned a lot about Disciplined Agile. I know Disciplined Agile was there. It was there from very, very long time ago, and PMI picked it up and they modified it. They made it industry specific as well, and they calibrated to the new age now. And that's what the Disciplined Agile is there to offer for you. Now, at any given point of time, you want to come to our website and check out different courses that we have. As you can see, I have my website displayed as of now. You want to come to our website, it's very easy, www.netcomlearning.com. And anytime you want to get to PMI, the easiest way is to just click on PMI. But if you click on PMI, this is going to take you to the entire portfolio that PMI has to offer. Everything to do with Disciplined Agile, everything to do with other PMI courses as well, such as PMP, which is one of the main ones nowadays. You have ACP, like Shumik spoke about, risk management professional, scheduling professional, business analysis professional, business analysis, which is PMI, PBA. You will be able to see all of that. All you have to do is just click on PMI right over here. And once you do that, you will be able to see top project management training. And then you will have, if you explore more, you'll be able to see all the trainings, and you will see some training resources. Now, these training resources are very, very cool because you can see that every time. Now, PMI believes in that continuing education and being a lifelong learner, which is our whole soul motto, by the way. PMI believes in that too. So they say every time you take trainings according to the PMI triangle, you get PDUs. So how can you earn these PDUs? Just click on this link. It would talk about various courses giving you different type of PDUs. If you're a PMP already, you need your 60 PDUs to maintain your PMP. If you're a PMI, ACP, or any other certification that you may have, in order to maintain it, you require PDUs. And that's why you can come in here, you can explore more courses. Now, the one thing that I love about PMI is they're not vendor agnostic. They don't say that, hey, you can only take my course and only then you can continue your education. PMI says that you take any kind of course coming out of this particular talent triangle, you can gain PDUs. All we have to do is to just get the course qualified for PDUs, and we do that. We're very fast in doing that. You can also choose to take free skill assessments if you want to. And if you want to look for DASM trainings like, DASM, DASSM, just put it right over here. I went back to the main page, just put in DASM. And it's going to take you to the Disciplined Agile Scrum Master training. You can learn more about the course and so on and so forth. You want to learn about DASSM, go back to the main page. Or you could have used the search bar over there as well. It's just that, I'm in a matter of habit of keep going back to the home page. You can go into DASSM as well. We also have some GTR schedules coming up. Now, GTR schedules in training industry is a huge thing. Why it's a huge thing? Because we know that this schedule will run. Many times you opt for a schedule. Sometimes, because of the resources available, because of the students available, different organizations that tend to cancel schedules. We don't do that. So you do have some GTR schedules, but please don't worry. Anytime you want to pick a schedule, just select a vendor. I would go into advanced search. Most of the times I go to advanced search, select for PMI, You can either show only guarantee to run classes, or you could just pick any schedules. I'm going to refine these results, and you will see various schedules coming up. IT project and configuration management. I should have asked a question on that also, but I'm going to keep that to myself. PMI, PBA, RMP, all the courses, you will be able to find the schedules over here. Another thing is, if you want, you can also come to our promotions page. What we offer to all our customers is free training. This is something that we feel that everybody should get, right? So we have free project management training right over here. We have a small ask. We ask you that if you have over 10 learners coming in the same team asking for this free project management training, we will be able to provide it to you. So our very small ask is to have at least 10 learners come in for the free project management training, and somebody like Shumik or another instructor will be able to provide that training for you. You could let us know you want Shumik, and we'll get you Shumik. We'll book his day for you. Don't worry about it. So, it's free project management training. Another thing that I want to bring your attention to is something that we're bringing up. It's new. We're still working on it. It is evolving as we speak, is the Netcom Plus. Now, when you come into Netcom Plus, this is our subscription. This is a world of courses. And you can see it has a very low subscription cost, but when you come into it and you want to look for PMI training, you will see. Now, you might think that all of this might be on-demand learning, learn as you go type of thing. No, this is instructor-led training provided to you under a small subscription price. You can have it. You can have this subscription as an individual, or you can have it for a team. If you want, pricing is a little bit different. You're more than welcome to speak with a enterprise learning consultant and work that out. And you will be able to see all of these instructor-led courses from PMI. And the ones that I was talking about, emotional agility, business resilience, if you want those type of courses, you will see them under leadership and management. You also have agile project management. And under that, you will be able to see more agile project management courses, which might suit you. You want to get into ITSM. You have ITIL right over here. So there is so many courses, instructor-led courses, unlimited courses offered to you, more than 400 courses for a very small subscription price. And it's up to you when you want to take the schedule, how you want to book it. If it's just for you, if it's for the entire team, we will be able to help you with that. And with that, I will stop talking and I'm going to hand it over back to Leela. Sorry, Leela.
You're fine. We love your questions, and I think a lot of times your questions are just what everybody else is wondering themselves. So we are going to go ahead and hop into what questions we do have. Let's see. Our first question we have, and let me check the time as well so I make sure we're on task. Okay. We'll just have time for a couple of questions. So if you do get them in as quickly as possible, that will be what's best. Our first question is, what are the types of projects that are good for DA?
So practically, I'm going to take that question, Leela, here. So when we talk about what kind of projects are good for Disciplined Agile, I will not restrict DA's role with a specific kind of project per se. I'll say that DA is someone who's capable of managing all kind of project depending on the business requirement. So is it just the agile projects where the DA is going to be involved? Is it just the traditional flow of projects that the DA is going to be involved? No. DA is someone who's able to go ahead and handle all approaches that supports the delivery of business value.
Thank you. Looks like we've got another question here. If we don't get any more after that, we will wrap up. What are the different DA-related certifications?
So you can go for like DASM, You can go for DASM as of now. These are practically speaking the two primary courses that are available. Yes, there are consultant certifications also available, but for someone who's practically going to be involved in managing the project specific certification, handling the specific projects, for them it's going to be better to move or look into these two certification, DASM and
Um,
DASSM.
yeah, there's DASM, Disciplined Agile Scrum Master, DASSM, Disciplined Agile Senior Scrum Master. There's DAVSC, Disciplined Agile Value Stream Consultant. I remember all of these. And then there's DA Coach, Disciplined Agile Coach. These are the 4 different certifications that I know of. But you know what, Shumik, the best part of Disciplined Agile is that
Yep.
either you go for the DASM or the DASSM. You know, when you said that this is for the team, it is perfect because, you know, you don't have to pay an extra cost for the exam voucher or anything. The exam is actually included with the training. So I just wanted to bring that up. I'm sorry.
That is a
No
great
problem.
piece of information, though, so thank you for sharing that.